Good evening and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Gavin Bishow.
And I'm Kayla Butter. Thank you for joining us. Tomorrow marks 7 years since the deadly shooting at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
17 people, 14 students, and 3 adults died in the tragedy. And a nationwide movement for gun violence and school safety called March for Our Lives was born.
One of the deadliest school shootings in U.S. history that happened not far from here has still many mourning the loss of their friends and loved ones.
Taryn Jacobs spoke with one survivor who has found hope and purpose in the years since.
I'm not grateful that it happened, but I am grateful for who I am because it did make me a better person.
Keely Owens was a 15-year-old freshman at Marjory Stoneman Douglas High School in Florida when a gunman killed 14 students and 3 adults on Valentine's Day in 2018.
I would say for the first couple of years that after, it was really hard and it was a really negative time. And it was hard to look at things positively because you think okay, what worse thing could happen to me than this?
And returning to school was anything but easy for Keely.
It was just a constant reminder. I mean, my first class of the day was right across from the building, and that's not easy to look at when you have boarded off windows and you know that they're boarded off because there's bullet holes through them.
So Keely had a fresh start at a new school away from the daily reminders of the tragedy.
I think that a lot of my healing came from telling myself, I need to make this change. I need to do everything that I want to do, and I need to make my life the most. I think that even me just talking about this, there's a part of my 15-year-old self that's being healed.
For Keely and the entire Parkland community, Valentine's Day will forever be the day they lost 17 souls. But it is also a day for reflection and giving back.
So I sort of take the 14th as a day to just give love to the people around me because that's what Valentine's Day is, but also be thankful for the life that I have and the fact that my life was spared that day.
And Keely says the most important thing is to never forget what happened in Parkland on February 14th, 7 years ago.
But people need to talk about this because if people don't talk about it, then it's we're just ignoring something that's real. This was something that really happened.
Taryn Jacobs, UMTV.
For the past 15 months, fighting between the militant groups Hamas and Israel has captured a global audience. A recent ceasefire and hostage release have been at the forefront of the news. Earlier today, Hamas threatened to postpone hostage releases, claiming Israel has violated the ceasefire agreement. This comes after President Trump told Hamas that they would have until Saturday to release all hostages. Here in Miami, people had a chance to visit one exhibit dedicated to some of those who died in the Hamas attacks that started the conflict. Johnny Mushkin is here in studio to tell us more. Johnny?
For the past 3 months, North Miami has hosted the Nova Exhibition Museum, which honors those who died in the October 7th attack that Hamas launched at Israel's Nova Festival. Its doors are set to close, but its impact is strong within the South Florida community. After 3 months in Aventura, the Miami Nova exhibition will leave South Florida on Sunday. The touring exhibit is an immersive experience as guests see, hear, and touch the remnants of the October 7th massacre that happened in Israel.
Having the opportunity to bear witness to really tragic events and moments of human suffering are the things that help us become better people. And all the more so for our community, the Jewish community that has been so hurt and harmed by the events of October 7th, by Hamas, by those terrorist actions.
From victim cell phones to burned cars, all the items are authentic. And unlike most museums, the Nova exhibit heavily encourages all visitors to touch the items.
What stood out to me, I've actually been in Israel since October 7th. I've been to the site in Israel where the Nova Festival was, and I actually found this exhibition to be even more powerful than standing in the location in Israel because you actually feel the way it's set up, you feel like you're part of that moment.
After a self-paced walkthrough, guests are invited to listen to a survivor who attended the Nova Festival. While the museum is set to leave North Miami soon, its impact is leaving the community with a spark of optimism for the future remembrance.
I'm really incredibly impressed by what they were able to do and the way that they were able to communicate this story. If we should listen to anything and take anything from this experience and from this exhibition, it should be exactly what they say they stand for. Making those connections, being with people, building the relationships that we need. That's the way that we're able to invest this story into our community to make change for the future.
The Nova tribe, which created and supports the exhibit, will end the 3-month stay here in South Florida with a festival to honor all those who died, as well as raise awareness for those who are still held hostage in the Middle East. The exhibit has already been to New York and Los Angeles. The Nova tribe has not yet announced where the exhibit will head to next. Guys?
Thank you, Johnny. Tensions have risen at Florida International University, where many students believe state government has been way too involved in their education. Emmeline Smith joins us now live from FIU to tell us more. Emmeline, what's going on?
Guys, on Friday, Florida's Lieutenant Governor Jeanette Nunez was named interim president of FIU. Her term will begin on Monday, February 17th, and she will be the first alum and woman president to serve in the role. Now, the current president, Kenneth Jessel's tenure was to end in 9 months despite criticism from faculty and students. Florida Republican Governor Ron DeSantis recommended Nunez for the role. But students have shared with us that they fear the new leader is going to implement the removal of policies such as diversity programs and gender classes in line with the directives from the Trump administration.
I think that the sudden rush of the president's switch is also something that can contribute to fear to students, because I feel like as though their voices have not been heard or they have not been asked as to whether or not they are okay with this change. And I can definitely see how that can raise some fear among students.
In protest, more than 100 students gathered to my left at the Ernest R. Graham Center, telling the school at noon today, that to reconsider their decision. Students chanted "Fascism, not hot," and "No to Nunez." Live for UMTV, I'm Emmeline Smith.
Thank you, Emmeline. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is clearing up rumors of his wife, Casey, replacing him at the end of his term. Rumors arose earlier this week that Casey DeSantis was truly considering a campaign in 2026. But in a statement on Tuesday, Governor DeSantis confirmed that she is not seeking to run, adding that the rumors are flattering. Now let's hand it over to our national coverage team, Shay McDonald and Ariel Weil. Guys.
Hello and welcome to Coast, bringing you coverage from across the United States. I'm Shay McDonald.
And I'm Ariel Weil. On Tuesday, President Trump banned several Associated Press reporters from the Oval Office over a conflict regarding the renaming of the Gulf of Mexico.
AP's reporters have refused to call it the Gulf of America and have been barred from attending several media events this week. The White House press secretary tried to explain the ban.
Why news outlets don't want to call it that, but that is what it is.
For many journalists, the ban is a direct assault on their First Amendment rights, and the Associated Press released a statement saying that, quote, the AP is prepared to vigorously defend its constitutional rights and protest the infringement on the public's right to independent news coverage of their government and elected officials.
Moving on to the Senate floor, 2 of Trump's controversial cabinet picks have been approved. Starting off on Wednesday, Tulsi Gabbard was confirmed for the Director of National Intelligence. And just a short time ago, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. was confirmed for Health Secretary.
Gabbard made waves during her confirmation hearings for her reluctance to call Edward Snowden a traitor for leaking classified documents and fleeing to Russia.
And RFK Jr. experienced his own fair share of controversy from both Democrats and Republicans for his past stances on abortion and vaccines.
In both votes, Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell was the sole Republican to vote against the confirmations. Kennedy marks the 14th member of Trump's cabinet to be confirmed. Linda McMahon, his pick for Education Secretary, and her Senate hearing today, with the vote expected as early as next week.
Between the thousands of deportations and pledge to eliminate birthright citizenship, President Trump's immigration policies have come under fire.
3 federal judges have blocked Trump's executive actions, and 7 other lawsuits have been filed and challenged the executive order ending birthright citizenship.
Here in South Florida, deportations have faced similar backlash, with ICE raids having led to protests against the crackdown on immigration.
Nicole Kickert spoke to some local residents who are fearful for the future of these policies. And Nicole joins us now live from the city of Homestead with the latest. Nicole?
Well, it is a much quieter scene here tonight at Homestead City Hall than it was last Friday night, when dozens of residents came out to throw their support behind undocumented immigrants who have been scared into silence. Si se puede means yes, we can. It is what dozens of people chanted in front of the Homestead City Hall on Friday during a protest against the growing ICE raids and deportations in Florida.
We're protesting for everyone's rights, especially for people who can't speak up and that are scared and afraid.
The rally was followed by an announcement from Republican Governor Ron DeSantis, who signed a deal with Homeland Security, allowing Florida state troopers to be trained in detaining undocumented immigrants. And with Homeland Security helicopters circling overhead and rumors of ICE agents waiting in a nearby lot, many people were afraid to come show their support.
I have family that are immigrants and that are scared to stand up. They have fear.
And for many, that fear is the thought of being ripped away from their loved ones.
My mom came here in the 3rd grade, and if this would have been happening when she came over here, who knows if I would have been here today, she probably wouldn't have met my dad.
But despite the uncertainty, the protesters managed to turn the event into a celebration of culture. Those who came to the rally have vowed to continue fighting for what they believe is right and urge others to do the same.
Your voice matters. If you're out here today protesting with us or just honking from your car, you're helping us out a lot.
Now, these peaceful protests have been taking place all across South Florida, with supporters of undocumented immigrants spreading the news on social media. But as of Monday night, the Instagram account that focuses on Homestead at Homestead Protests could no longer be found on the app. It is unclear whether the account was deleted by its owner or removed completely by Instagram. Reporting live in Homestead, I'm Nicole Kickert, UMTV.
Thank you, Nicole. Last week, ICE deported a Miami-Dade teacher to his home country of Honduras. The 24-year-old has been detained since early January.
The DACA recipient came to the U.S. 11 years ago when he was 13. The United Teachers of Dade organization confirmed the teacher had proper authorization to work for the district.
We will keep you updated on the new administration's immigration and other policies here on NewsVision.
That's all we have for this week on Coast to Coast, but coming up on the program,
Miami Beach Mayor shares more restrictions for spring break. We'll tell you what residents and tourists can expect. Stay with us.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. Of course, it's awkward to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping. Hey, bestie, how sketch is me? It's hard to get their attention. Ready? Go. Yes, look at that. You even turn yours over. So if you want to talk to your kids about the dangers of vaping, you have to get it trending. Right, Backpack Kid?
Let's do it.
First, invite your kid to do the vape talk. Let's try this. All right.
Why is he here?
Yeah, I gotta get it trending, honey.
Come on.
Let's go.
Oh, honey, can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
I see a lot of your friends vaping.
Visit talkaboutvaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
A Barnes & Noble store in Kendall is likely to close soon to make space for a new Rooms to Go showroom. The bookstore, located at the Kendall Village West, has a 4.6-star rating in Yelp with nearly 4,000 reviews. And loyal customers have been upset with the news of the Barnes & Noble's closing and have started a petition to stop it. The petition now has more than 7,000 signatures. Rooms to Go has filed a pre-application with Miami-Dade County to tear down the bookstore and replace it with a showroom. The project is still in its approval stage and no demolition has been scheduled just yet. But if the plans do go through, the more than 50,000 square foot building could become one of the largest rooms-to-go showrooms in the entire country.
Pedestrian safety is one area of concern here in Coral Gables, and residents are petitioning to make the city safer for walkers. The Say Yes to Bicycle and Pedestrian Safety in Coral Gables petition is pushing for a solution that involves the Underline, which is a 10-mile pedestrian-only trail under the Miami Metro Rail. A quarter of the Underline is already open in Brickell and Coconut Grove, and an estimated 50,000 people visit it every week. The construction of the rest of the Underline has been delayed because of permit and other issues. The petition is asking the Coral Gables commissioners to not put off the Underline construction any further, and more than 700 people have already signed the petition in just 1 week.
The Miami-Dade Commission is considering placing a potential incinerator in the city of Miramar. This is to replace the one that burned down in the city of Doral in 2023. But Miramar residents are not happy with the choice and voiced their concerns at a meeting this week. They say they're worried about the incinerator posing health risks and environmental contamination. Many are also concerned with the increase of incinerators in historically Black and Hispanic communities. Residents and opposing commissioners even suggested more eco-friendly alternatives, such as recycling, composting food scraps and yard waste, and waste-to-energy facility to help save money and stop greenhouse gas emissions. The commission will meet again next Wednesday to make a final decision.
And one iconic piece of Miami history is making a comeback. The long shut down Miami Marine Stadium is finally set for restoration, with the city moving forward to bring the waterfront venue on Key Biscayne back to life. Built in 1993, the Miami Marine Stadium has been closed for more than 30 years, covered in graffiti and completely neglected, but that's about to change. City officials have completed initial repairs and are seeking private operators to manage the venue. A public referendum in November could finalize its future as a premier concert and event space. Now, Kayla, I don't know about you, but I really enjoy outdoor concerts, outdoor events, and this could really be something for the community to kind of gather around.
I agree. I love concerts, but you know what you definitely need for an outdoor concert?
Is it weather?
Good weather.
Weather. It's Valentine's Day tomorrow, Valentine's Day weekend. Some are celebrating President's Day on Monday, and thankfully, student meteorologist Ann Badowski is in studio to tell us about the weather this upcoming week. Ann, what do you have for us?
Yeah, well, we definitely have some beautiful weather ahead of us for tomorrow for our Valentine's Day holiday. As for tomorrow, you can see that our temperatures are going to be hovering around that 80-degree mark. It'll be cooling down a little bit as we head into the afternoon around dinner time, with some clouds that are going to be in the area that'll be cooling our temperatures a little bit. If you're looking to travel for this weekend too, I have some great news. We have beautiful sunshine all throughout the weekend. Those temperatures still hovering around that 80-degree mark, even peaking all the way up at 83 on Sunday. But you can see that these rain chances are still pretty low, which is something that we've been pretty used to here in Florida. As you can see for our drought monitor, we have a moderate drought stretching across most of Florida, even down to here in Miami and Fort Lauderdale. For us, Miami, we are about 1.35 inches lower than what we would normally have for this time of year, and Fort Lauderdale is less than 2 inches what they would expect. But hopefully we can have some help for those drought issues with some rainfall that we're going to be seeing next week. Looking at our 6 to 10 day rainfall outlook, you can see that green area is going to be that increase of precipitation that we're going to be seeing next week, with some severe weather that's going to be moving down from the south into Miami. By the time it gets to us, it won't be anything like thunderstorms, but we'll definitely see some rain to keep us busy. You can see those rain chances again on Tuesday, bringing those temperatures down a little bit too with that colder weather, that cold front that will be on the way as well. Beautiful sunshine, temperatures still seasonably high for us here, but definitely a week to enjoy. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Ann. With spring break just around the corner, the city of Miami Beach is tightening the rules for visitors once again. City officials have announced new restrictions aimed at keeping spring breakers and other visitors under control and safe. If you plan to go to the beach during spring break, here's what you need to know. For the past few years, Miami Beach has struggled with overcrowding, violence, and unruly behavior during spring break. City officials say they are taking a zero-tolerance approach this time around. Extra officers will be on control, and arrests will be made for disorderly conduct. Police will also set up DUI checkpoints and use license plate readers to monitor traffic. And officials warn that visitors who do not follow the rules could face hefty fines or even jail time. Some of the rules to be aware of for this spring break are alcohol banned on beaches and public spaces, midnight curfew on key weekends, no coolers, tents, or inflatable devices, liquor sales will end at 6 p.m., and even more. Miami Beach Mayor Stephen Minor addressed the new restrictions in an X post earlier today, saying, "Last year, we had 0 fatalities, 0 shootings, and 0 stampedes during spring break, a direct result of strong, unified action from our entire city and law enforcement partners." We'll bring more on the spring break restrictions in Miami in the next few weeks.
UM students joined some of the brightest minds in the world of tech last week in a one-of-a-kind event hosted here on campus. I had the chance to check it out. In life, you're always told to pursue your passions, but for UM junior Sydney Cosimano, it was the other way around.
I kind of like to joke that XR found me because I was originally a web designer my freshman year. I put on a headset, I was like, I love this. It's a total new dimension to storytelling.
XR, or extended reality, is an umbrella term for a new wave of technology that involves augmented reality, mixed reality, and most notably, virtual reality. And the University of Miami is ahead of the game in the world of XR. Recently, the university hosted Miami XR 2025, an inaugural event showcasing student projects that brought top tech experts and artists from around the globe to campus to speak to hundreds of tech-savvy students and scholars.
What I'm seeing at the U, it's just been fantastic. The interactive lab you have set up, all the hardware, all the people who are working on the content, that's the biggest deal, is the culture that's been created here.
Students also had the opportunity to show their creations, including a virtual reality tour of campus and even video games.
We're creating this game called Swampocalypse, where the user gets to drive an airboat in Miami Everglades, and there's a sort of zombie apocalypse happening at the same time. So they get to drive the airboat, shoot zombies, and at the same time just experience the environment all in virtual reality, which is really cool.
Miami XR 2025 not only gave students the opportunity to learn a lot from industry experts, but also proved to them that their future dreams in XR are achievable.
I love Vessel, but we are very academic. So seeing people who are commercialized and that kind of aspect of it really gives me a lot of hope and aspirations for my future.
And with the world of XR changing every single day, one can only imagine what's in store for next year's conference.
Coming up, we'll take a look at which team soared ahead in the Super Bowl on Sunday, and we'll tell you why a bunch of alumni came back to Marklight Field last weekend. And it wasn't just for the famous milkshakes. Details after a short break. Stay with us.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire. How to control the flames. What to do with hot coals. How to secure your chains.
There's no sparks.
But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Welcome to sports. I'm Tyron Jacobs. For a second year in a row, the Super Bowl attracted a record attendance with almost 128 million viewers. The rematch from 2 years ago ended almost entirely differently. This time, the Philadelphia Eagles dominated the entire game, defeating the back-to-back defending champions, the Kansas City Chiefs. This was the Eagles' second Super Bowl win in franchise history. Quarterback Jalen Hurts took home the honor of MVP, throwing for 2 touchdowns and running for 1. But it was the defense who secured the victory for the Eagles, putting down 6 sacks on Patrick Mahomes. The Eagles will host their celebratory parade tomorrow in the city of brotherly love. And former Miami Dolphins offensive lineman Richard Webb will be inducted into the Texas Hall of Fame tomorrow. He helped lead the Texas A&M Aggies to several championships and bowl games in the late 1980s. And during his time with the Dolphins, he was a 2-time All-Pro, 7-time Pro Bowl selection, and was named to the 1990s All-Decade team. And another Dolphins star and Miami alum, Jalen Phillips, is partnering with the Frost School of Music in the Donna Shalala Music Reach program. The collaboration includes a new scholarship funded by the Jalen Phillips Foundation for one Frost student. The student will serve as a mentor for high school students involved with the Music Reach program. Phillips says that the music has always been an important part of his life and that it teaches essential skills for any path of life. Switching from the NFL to the NCAA, the men's basketball team put out another strong performance against Syracuse. Let's head to the Watsco Center to see what went down. We start in the first, Ugochukwu with the rebound, taking it down the court all the way to the rack, and Miami gets an early lead now here in the game. Cleveland to Bethea, and a quick 1-2 and bang from the All-American freshman. He had a career high of 21 points on the night. Ugochukwu again pushing the ball up the court, and he'll put that one in off the glass. Cleveland now taking it to the hoop, and he'll lay that one in as well. 32 points, a career high for him as well. Second half now here, Bethea with the hot hands, and Ugochukwu flushes that one in on the other end of the court. Let's take another look at this play. A beautiful finish and beautiful defense on both ends of the court. Now, Cleveland here dishes it to the corner to Paul Jobay, and money a tie game now here in the Watsco Center. Now, Cleveland again with the ball. A no-look pass to Bethea, and from downtown, Miami extends their lead. Syracuse now making every effort to close this game out, but it will not be enough, and Miami will go on to earn their second ACC win of the season. And earlier this week, current and former Canes baseball players came together at the Marklight Field for the annual alumni game. More than 70 alumni showed out for a fun night of baseball and also to relive their days as a Miami Hurricane. And with all the fun, their current Canes dominated the diamond, winning 14-3. University of Cincinnati transfer Griffin Hughes showed his talent on the mound with 10 strikeouts in just 5 innings. Opening day is tomorrow night at 7 p.m. against Niagara University at Marklight Field. And that's all for sports. I'm Taryn Jacobs.
Thank you, Taryn. Students visiting the Canes baseball team can enjoy a classic Marklight milkshake, but when there is not a game, students can enjoy a beverage from a new old venue called the Billy Goat Cafe. The Billy Goat Cafe is not a new addition to campus. It has been around since 2013, but like many other venues, it shut down during the pandemic. But since it reopened just 2 weeks ago, business has been booming. The cafe has one aspect that makes it so different from the Vicky's and Starbucks on campus.
It's student run. It's completely student run. It's just from the goodness of our hearts. Even that small interaction of asking that person's name for their order is another person that we can say hi to in the hallway.
Every Monday from 12 to 1 p.m., fifth-year seniors host Cafecito Mondays at the Billy Goat Cafe. And going forward, the whole Billy Goat team hopes to see the kiosk become a space for more organizations and students to connect. Now, Kayla, there's a lot of spots on campus to get coffee, Starbucks, Vicky's, Pete's, but you know what they say? Canes care for Canes. So if you're a Miami student out there and you're on campus looking for some coffee, go out and try Billy Goat Cafe. Should be pretty good.
You know what, Gavin, I haven't tried it yet, but it looks amazing, and I, love supporting.
I've never heard of it prior to a couple days ago, so I might have to go out there and try. But as Ann said earlier in the weather report, great weekend ahead. Maybe not as much early next week. Any Valentine's Day plans? Any weekend plans?
Honestly, I was thinking of going to the beach. I'm trying to get a tan.
Like that.
Coming up.
Yeah, no,
tomorrow,
for sure.
I think I'm going to go to the beach
Beautiful
with some of my
tomorrow.
friends.
There's Miami Hurricanes baseball all weekend long. Should be really good. And then obviously, unfortunately for us, but some get Monday off. We're back at school, but the weekend should be great with weather, and should be a nice week.
Should be a nice weekend. Well, that's all the time we have for this week's edition of NewsVision. Thanks for tuning in.
And be sure to tune in at the same time next week. Have a great night.